it's your girl from Philly. Welcome to another episode of Handcrafted Wines, where we make great wine at home the fun and easy way. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. In today's episode, we're going to be making Dragon Fruit Melomel. And we know that Melomel is a mead with fruit in it, and a mead is honey wine. So we're making Dragon Fruit honey wine today. We're starting with 4 pounds of frozen dragon fruit that I've already defrosted. In the vessel, I have 3 pounds of honey that's been diluted with hot water. We're also going to be using the juice of 1 lemon. We'll be using pectic enzyme to break down the cell walls in our dragon fruit to make sure we extract as much fruit juice and fruit flavor out of it as we possibly can. Sugar juice and fruit flavor as we possibly can. And we also will be using our dynamic duo, which is our yeast nutrient and our yeast energizer, as well as our tannin. Even though dragon fruit is a very richly colored fruit, it doesn't have a lot of tannin in it. So we'll be adding tannin to our batch. And our yeast today is going to be Red Star Premier Classique. Okay, let's get started. Now, I'm going to be very transparent with you. The reason why this honey is already diluted with hot water is because I waited and I diluted it and the camera wasn't rolling. So we're going to start from this point. We have 3 pounds of honey as well as the equal amount of hot water to dilute the honey. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a straining bag and I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Star San. This straining bag has seen better days. I can't remember the last thing that I fermented with it, but it got stained pretty badly. But it's still good. It's very clean and it's been sanitized. Okay, so we're going to add our dragon fruit. And it's very, well, it defrosted for about a few hours. So it still has chunks of ice in the center, but I think we can make it work. Now, dragon fruit is a very interesting fruit. And the funny thing is, if I was going to compare it to anything, I would compare it to cactus pears, which is another unusual fruit. It has the mouthfeel and almost the same taste as cactus pears. But the strange thing about dragon fruit is it has some other qualities to it that are very unfruit-like. You actually taste in the back of your mouth, perhaps I would say like a tobacco taste to it. It's not unpleasant at all, but it just gives the fruit a different characteristic. So we're going to add all this dragon fruit. Now, in its unfrozen state, dragon fruit is really, really pretty. It has these little dots of black seeds in it that makes it gorgeous. And it being frozen actually made the fruit a lot darker than it would normally be if you purchased it fresh. So maybe we'll try making a dragon fruit mead or dragon fruit melomel with fresh fruit another time. I get passion fruit and dragon fruit confused. And the funny thing about it is they're nothing alike. They don't look alike. They don't smell alike. They don't taste alike. But oftentimes when I'm referring to dragon fruit, I say passion fruit, and I don't know why. Now that's another fruit I can't wait until it's in season. It's just that you have to buy a lot of passion fruit in order to get even a little bit of pulp. So we'll see how that works out. I may make it in a melomel because the honey can help support some of the bulk that you would be missing using actual passion fruit. Now the smell of this this there I go again. The smell of this dragon fruit is actually really pleasant, but that scent of tobacco, for some reason, is really there, and it's not. It doesn't smell. It smells sweet, but it does have that smell and it does have that taste to it. It's a lovely magenta color. It's mixing with the gold of the honey, so I know that's going to alter the color a little bit. I've been getting very comfortable with working with honey. Um, I don't know why I was so afraid of it before. I mean, meads are one of the most classic wines there are out there, but for some reason I just wasn't sure of, the correct amount and, what to look for when you were fermenting it. But now I'm getting really comfortable with it. And I'm glad because it's such a lovely taste. Now this is just plain golden honey. Yeah, so the store that I bought it from, they don't specify what type of honey it is, but if you were to buy an orange blossom honey or a clover honey, especially from a beekeeper in your area, you would notice like very definite flavors in it. All right, we're almost there. I'm going to start pouring, and I pray I don't make a mess. We'll see what happens. So amazed at this color. Such a deep, I dropped a piece of fruit. Such a deep magenta. It's gorgeous. And it has a lot of body to it. It seems to be, it has a heavy kind of viscosity to it. We're not going to use this piece that fell. We're going to press the rest inside. So I'm thinking with this fruit that 3 pounds of honey might just be exactly what we need. Look at that color. Ooh, it's so bright and pretty. I can only imagine before they had commercial dyes, using something like dragon fruit to dye your clothing would make it so gorgeous. I'm going to close this. I'm in rotation with my straining bags and airlocks and my equipment so much that they kind of catch some wear and tear before I get more. Okay, I'm going to push that in, and then we're going to add a little more water. I mean, if we can, if there's room to. Oh my gosh, this magenta is going to get on everything. Cleaning up tonight is going to be fun. I don't think there's actually need for more water. I just want to get a nice hydrometer reading and see where we are. I'm going to press the fruit down. The fruit is pretty it's mushy already. So we really don't have to blitz it to break it down at all. What phone company does this color remind you of? This is so pretty. All right. So because it's a lot of fruit, it's not going to stay down. I think I may hold. No, I'll just do my additives and stir it the best way I can. So we're going to add our pectic enzyme. We're not going to be using acid blend because we are adding fruit juice to this. I actually should have added the lemon juice prior to this. And what I'm going to do is squeeze the lemon juice out into another vessel just in case we get seeds. I don't want seeds inside the batch. Move that over. Lemon is such a pretty scent. Oh, this is a very juicy lemon too. And the reason I'm adding lemon to this batch is because dragon fruit, I was going to say passion fruit again, but dragon fruit has such a rich taste to it, but it doesn't have a punch or a pop, anything like that. So we're adding lemon juice to add that additional pop to it. All right, and now the second half. We haven't gotten any seeds so far, but just in case we do, it's better to be safe than sorry. Not that lemon seeds would do anything to your batch, but you know, you don't necessarily want them floating around in it either. So I did get lots of seeds this time. But it yielded quite a bit of lemon juice. So I'm going to take the seeds out. I can put them in where we had our additives. 4 seeds. I dropped a seed, but we didn't want it anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so I've gotten all the seeds out. I'm going to add this to our batch. Just that little bit that was on the spoon colored the lemon juice. I wish I could have showed that to you before I added it and made it such a beautiful pink color. I have a feeling that the straining bag is going to be even more stained after this batch. So now that it's settled a little bit, I do see there's room for a little bit more water, but I do want to take a gravity reading first just to see where we are. And I don't know if it's this batch of yeast energizer or what, but it's been that in this batch of pectic enzyme has been clumping up a little bit. So I have to just make sure that I get rid of any clumps that I see so that they can do the work that they're supposed to be doing. Some of the seeds did break free from the batch, but that's not going to matter. They're going to all fall to the bottom anyway, along with the leaves. And I intentionally used 4 pounds because I was concerned about vibrant color, but I guess I didn't need to be concerned. I may have been able to do this with 3 pounds. If you're going to try this at home, try to see what it looks like with just the 3 pounds of fruit and see if you're satisfied with it. A wine this pretty or a melomel this pretty would make a great gift for someone. So we're going to check our specific gravity. Hit our cylinder with a little star sand. Hit our turkey baster with a little star sand. I didn't add the tannin in, but I can wait. I can wait for that. Right now, I just want to get a good reading. Oh yeah, everything's going to be stained. Everything. If you make this at home, make sure you wear something that you don't care about the color changing. Yeah, this is very, very viscous. So I'm thinking that the 3 pounds of honey was absolutely enough. I may have to add a little water to this, but I'm not sure yet. Taking us a while to get the goal. At goal. Awesome. Putting everything in my bowl because I just don't want to leave it on my towel. As deep as the color is. And let's blitz our hydrometer a little bit. Phew. That is very high. We're going to have to take some of the product out and add some water to it and test it again. I have my trusty, no, I won't use that. There's sugar left on there. So I'll just add some more water into this and see where we get. I may pull off the excess and just put it either in a either in a smaller vessel, or I'll freeze it in a Ziploc bag and just add it back to the batch in secondary fermentation when we no longer have the fruit in there. Yeah, because that's kind of dangerously high, and I'm not quite sure how much activity this batch is going to cause. So let's just see what we have now. So definitely 3 pounds of fruit would have been enough. It's so curious because some batches you absolutely need that 4th pound of fruit. And I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. It's just I don't want it overly sweet. I'm using Premier Classique, and that only ferments to about 15%. So let's try it again. And my hydrometer. Everything is pink. Oh, this seemed a lot better. But again, I may just take the 250 milliliters and leave it out when we add our tannin and yeast. I may just leave it out. Whenever you have extra like this, it's absolutely fine to put it in the freezer. I wouldn't leave it in the refrigerator, but in the freezer would be absolutely fine. You still want it to maintain the quality of the batch. You don't want it spoiling in your refrigerator or even taking on some type of fermentations of its own. All right, my hydrometer, which is perfectly pink right now. Ooh, this is really, really high. So what I'm going to do, guys, is step off the camera, get another fermentation jar, and then check the gravity of this split into 2 batches. I've never done this before, but I'm just going to see how that comes out. So I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back. So this is the very first time that I felt it was necessary to break a batch into 2. The second one, of course, is not going to be as much as the first, but I'm going to do a gravity reading on both batches just to see where they are. And if necessary to add additional sugars to them, I will add regular sugar. For that one, I'm going to stop there because really this has more volume because it has the straining bag in it. Now I'm going to press this down and mix up some of the fruit that's in this batch just to see where we are. It'll also give me a chance to see the difference between how it ferments with the fruit inside and with just the dragon fruit juice. All right, let's just try it with the reduced viscosity and see what we have here. I think I like the color with it diluted as well. It's a little less intense and it's very pretty. I think my granddaughter would love this color. She likes pink. Okay, so we're going to try and do a gravity reading now and just see where this lands. Where's my hydrometer? Right there. So this is exactly where we would want it to be. This is at 1.090. So this is perfect. We're going to leave this like it is. And I'm going to do a reading on the second batch as well. As well as a spoon. Better to correct it in the beginning than to end up having a batch that just won't ferment because it's way too viscous and there's no space for the yeast to be able to move around or for them to the cake that they're in to dissolve. So this is preferable. And we get more melomel. Bonus. Now, once I move the fruit out of this batch, I'm probably going to bring them back to being one batch as much as I possibly can, just because there'll be a lot more space in there. Let's see if we have the same reading with this half. Yes, so they're the same, which is good. There's no difference in the fruit being there. It may be in the long run a difference as it continues to ferment, but for right now, both the all juice batch and the batch with fruit in it have the same gravity. So I'm going to take a look and see where that should leave us. I'm having such a great time cleaning this up. Okay, so that was 1.090. And that my hydrometer tells me, I guess I haven't been trusting my hydrometer. I've been going to Brewer's Friend, but I still should read it. It tells me that the 1.090 is going to be about 13% ABV. Let me just confirm that. Exactly. So based on the ABV calculator at brewersfriend.com, it comes out to be 13.13%, which I'm fine with. I'm absolutely fine with. I'm going to add my tannin and yeast to this batch. I'll do this batch off camera. So I'm going to actually seal this up right now. And then I'll get the yeast and the tannin for this batch. Let's get some of this out the way. And I have to dilute. I think I have some hot water left. Let's see. Yep, just enough to be able to dilute the tannin. I've never had to do that before. That was a first for me. So one batch typically makes 4 to 5 bottles. That looks like an additional 3 bottles. So, I might give some away as gifts just because we have extra. And I'm glad I didn't have to use the sugar because, to be honest, I really wanted this just to be a honey wine. I wanted to produce it without any white sugar. So this means I can. When it's time to back sweeten, if it's necessary to back sweeten, I can go back and use honey. Okay. I think it's completely dissolved, but you know how tannin treats us. There's a little bit at the bottom, but not enough to be concerned about. And I just want to move this around a little bit. Incorporate the tannin. Luckily, we had no lumps this time. Okay. Now we're going to add our yeast. Still has a little tannin on the tip of this, but that's okay. I think I got some of the liquid inside the yeast. I may have to add a little bit more yeast. Well, I don't know. This was a half teaspoon of yeast, so I think this is going to be fine. This was a really, really messy, messy batch. Now we're going to fill our airlock. Oh, we have to put our lid on. So we're going to add our lid with our drill holding grommet. So the yeast seem to like it. They're hydrating quickly. I'm really glad that I caught it and we were able to correct it, because it just would have been a waste if the yeast wasn't able to move around and actually eat the sugars. Almost. Okay, so now we're at the max fill line. This is a airlock I've had for some time, so I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the tip of it with some Star Sand. All right, that looks good. All right, so I'll be doing this off camera, which I'll be adding tannin to this as well as yeast. I won't add any other sugars, but I will be keeping an eye on the fact that there's so much space. The moment I feel or I see that there's no more activity in the airlock, I'm going to rack this off, because if there's too much air there, and that would cause oxidization. We don't want that. We want both of these batches to be excellent batches. All right, so this is our Dragon Fruit Melomel, and if I said passion fruit at any point in this video, I'm prone to doing that. Again, the ingredients were passion fruit, honey, I did it, dragon fruit, honey, lemon juice, and our usual players. In this case, it was the yeast nutrient and yeast energizer. Our tannin and acid blend came from our lemon juice. So that's it for this episode of Handcrafted Wines. This was an interesting episode. A whole lot went on today. Remember to please remember to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, leave comments if you'd like. If you're making your own wine, I would love to hear what you're doing at home. It's a very fun hobby, but it's really fun when you share it with friends. So that's it for today, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.